Now I can take the tape off of the sides and get on with the finishing of the whole thing. Now the neck is theoretically done. It's had its final sanding with 2000 grit paper, and that gives it not a full gloss, but a satin sheen that you can see. Now the only remaining step is to polish it using a fine buffing compound, and the world's best buffing polishing cloth, a piece of an old t-shirt. Now it shouldn't take a whole lot of this to bring it up to a full gloss, which is then as done as it gets. A little of this does go a long way. And after the 2000 grit, it doesn't take a whole lot to pull the full gloss out of it. And after about a half hour of hand buffing, I call it finished. Let's get strings on it. Now, after a basic dose of just regular furniture polish, it's at the point where I'm afraid to touch it because I'll get fingerprints on it. I think I like it. The narrower neck meant, of course, that the string spacing was all changed, so it required making a new nut, which started life as just a blank piece of bone to be sanded and filed and cut and shaped to eventually fit onto the neck. And once I got it there, then I had to establish all of the new string spacing. And the string spacing is not just linear, it's actually proportional. The bass strings are further apart than the treble strings. So you lay it out and you very carefully copy all of the spaces onto the nut, and then you start sawing. Next step, actually cutting the slots, which of course has to be done right on the nose, because this is what determines string spacing. And if it's not right, and the strings are too far apart, your fingers will notice it and they won't be happy. What I'm doing first is just a notch to locate it. Then I'll adjust them to the width to fit each of the strings. This is one of those cases where I have 12 chances to screw it up and get to go back and start over. I am trying to avoid that. The front had a head start, so it's done actually and masked off and has been, while the rest of the guitar catches up. At this point, the sides, I think, are done. The final sanding with the 1500 grit will tell. The back is almost done. I had to do a little touch up, and I think it's probably going to need one more coat. Maybe not. So after a sanding with 1500 grit, it was determined by staff that it needs one more coat. So we're back to the paint booth. Now the neck is complete, set aside, waiting for the body to catch up with it. And I'm down to what hopefully is the final sanding with 2000 grit paper, which is actually more like buffing because it gives it a sort of a satin luster. The only step to follow it is polishing it. This will take 2 or 3 hours. The whole body is done. Oh, shut up, dishwasher. Okie dokie. So it's passed the 2000 grit test. Next step is to wipe it down with some mineral spirits. This removes any last remaining abrasives from the sandpapers. And this gets followed with polishing compound. Get up here and pay attention. Stay there. out of there. This is an ultra fine polishing compound. More elbow exercise. And eventually, it lives and breathes. It shines like it should. And it's ready to be joined up with the neck and start making music again. And now you can finally see the amazing character of the koa, if the camera can even pick it up. The grain pattern changes depending on the angle you're looking at it and the angle of the light. Yeah, I guess it's picking up some of it. It's a whole lot better in person. And the more subtle character of the Adirondack spruce also shows a lot better now. I can hardly wait to hear it. It's hard to really see how shiny it is by just the light reflections, but reflections of objects, like me, it's basically pretty much like a mirror. Just like I wanted it. Anyhow, the neck has been lurking in the sock drawer in the bedroom, ready to go on. So the next step is to join the two together. I will do a final alignment check to make really sure that it's perfect, and then I'll glue it up, let it set for 3 or 4 days to completely cure, put strings on it, and start setting up the action.